Hello and welcome to the Morning Update. I'm Tina Quinn. The Prime Minister says authorities are urgently investigating whether Australian foreign fighter Oscar Jenkins is still alive after being captured by Russian forces late last year. Mr Jenkins was captured after travelling to fight alongside Ukrainian forces, with soldiers who served with him saying they were convinced that he'd been killed. Authorities have previously said they held grave fears for the prisoner of war, but Anthony Albanese is now saying he's received a report from Russia that Mr Jenkins is alive.
We are demanding more information so that we can be certain that what has been suggested is in fact the case.
A new report from the Australian energy market operator has found that wholesale energy prices have increased 83% on 2023. The slow rollout of renewables and unreliable coal power stations are driving up prices. New South Wales is the worst affected state. Counter-terrorism police say there is no ongoing threat after explosives were found inside a caravan in Sydney's northwest. Detectives are investigating if the explosives discovered at Dural were taken from a mining site and were going to be used in an anti-Semitic attack. New South Wales Police Deputy Commissioner Dave Hudson says they're confident that the community is now safe.
We've recovered the explosives that are known to be out there. We believe that through the arrests that have been made on the periphery of this job, through Strike Force Pearl, that we have mitigated the risk as much as possible at this stage.
Nine Newspapers is reporting that the owner of the caravan is in police custody but hasn't yet been charged. The state's Premier Chris Minns has defended the decision to keep the discovery of the caravan plot quiet for more than a week now. Mr Minns says he kept silent to let police respond accordingly.
They've kept us safe for decades. And if they have to make an operational decision to conduct clandestine investigations, that's exactly what needs to happen. No one would keep that information from the public except if it was necessary.
Turning overseas now, and at least 15 people have been confirmed dead in a pre-dawn stampede at the world's largest religious gathering in India. Authorities say that as people rushed to participate in the Festival of the Sacred Picture, those sleeping or sitting on the ground were trampled in the darkness. Israel's ban on the operations of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees comes into force today. The ban will prevent UNRWA from operating in Israel and stop government officials from liaising with the agency in the occupied Palestinian territories. UNRWA spokesman in Jerusalem, Jonathan Fowler, says the ban effectively smothers the aid agency's work and will have dire consequences for 5.9 million people who access it for services such as health centres, schools and food distribution.
If we can no longer operate, what will that mean for the Palestine refugee population?
Israel has accused UNRWA of being intertwined with Hamas, a claim the agency completely denies. Well, after a day of chaos in Washington, the Trump administration is rescinding an order which would have frozen trillions of dollars in grants and loans. The freeze would have impacted government spending on foreign aid, healthcare and education programs. It caused a flood of calls to the White House from politicians who had questions about its impact on their home states. A federal court temporarily blocked the freeze yesterday. The White House is now saying that the administration has simply rescinded the memo from the Office of Management and Budget and that it is still pursuing a federal funding freeze. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is offering 8 months of pay to all federal employees who opt to leave their jobs next week in a bid to downsize the US government workforce. The move will impact frontline health workers in the Veterans Affairs Department, officials who process loans for home buyers or small businesses, experienced food inspectors, and scientists who test the water supply. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has undergone an intense grilling during his Senate confirmation hearing in Washington to become the United States top health official. The 71-year-old, nominated by President Donald Trump, has been labelled a predator who is addicted to attention and power by his cousin, the former US Ambassador Caroline Kennedy. Addressing the Senate hearing, RFK Jr., who was heckled by protesters, tried to respond to reports that he's an anti-vaxxer.
I believe that vaccines play a critical role in healthcare. All of my kids are vaccinated. I've written many books on vaccines. My first book in 2014, the first line of it is, I am not anti-vaccine, and the last line is, I am not anti-vaccine.
To sport, and in women's cricket, Australian captain Alyssa Healy says it's up to medical staff to decide if she can play in today's Ashes test against England at the MCG. She missed the T20 leg of the multi-format series due to a foot injury. Healy, who's been put through a series of fitness tests, says that she's done all she can to be selected.
There's a little bit taken out of my hands in that regard, and obviously still want to do the best by the team, but I'm excited and I feel like body-wise I'm ready to get out there and lead the side in Test match, which is cool.
And Western Bulldog star Jamara Ugal-Hagan will not attend the club's pre-season camp in Queensland as doubt over his availability for the first half of the season continues to grow. The 22-year-old was again a no-show at club headquarters yesterday as his teammates took part in their last training session before flying to Noosa tomorrow. And in entertainment, Cher has hinted she may tour down under soon. The superstar has opened up about finding love and happiness at 78 while promoting a new ad campaign for Uber Eats Australia. The campaign pokes fun at her appearance and pays homage to her 1989 mega hit, Turn Back Time. And that's the latest from the Nova podcast team. We'll see you this afternoon for another episode of The Update.